Hi, and welcome back. I have already covered installing VirtualBox, installing CentOS 7, installing PuTTY, but today I want to demonstrate how to log into local and remote graphical and text mode consoles. So let's get to it. Bam, bam, bam. Let's go to the VirtualBox, and I have two servers running. We already created this one, and this one has my educational materials. So let me go to PuTTY. I've pinned it to the taskbar, and so now I'm going to just click it, and as you can see, I've loaded the configurations for both of these servers in here. I'm just going to press cancel, and then I'm going to right click on the PuTTY icon, and I could go back to the PuTTY window by using that selection here, but I'm going to just log into scripts. Okay, and this is my file for the course. I like to size my window using the border here. So I'll just right click on the PuTTY icon and then select server. Right. And now I have a PuTTY session open for server. Let me just show you something about PuTTY. When I click on this PuTTY window, the cursor lights up, indicating I am using this window. When I click on this window, the cursor lights up, indicating I'm using this window. So with this window indicated, I'm going to use the left mouse button to copy this as well as I can. And I'm just going to copy the command itself. And then I'm going to click on this PuTTY window, and then I'm going to right click, and that pastes the command itself, so but without running. So if it was a very large command or a command that I need to alter, I would use this method because I don't want it to execute as is. But I'm just going to delete that, and then I'm going to imagine if you wanted it to run. So I'm going to highlight the command and the rest of the line. Then I'm going to right click, and then it runs the command. So that's very useful. And that's why I like to have a PuTTY window for my educational materials, because I can just run the command without having to type the whole thing. So I have an instruction here to check my command history, so I'm going to use the history command to show my command history. We can see all the commands that I've been running previously. So if I wanted, if I wanted just to see the last 10 lines of the history, I would use the unnamed pipe to the tail command. So the unnamed pipe will take the output of the history command and then put that into the standard input of the tail command, and the tail command by default will show the last 10 lines of history. So that's a little bit more manageable. Now if I wanted to run the last command, I would use 2 exclamation points, and as you can see, it ran again. So if I wanted to run a command specifically, I would use the exclamation point and then use whatever numbers. So let me see, I just want to run command, the W command again. There it goes. And this is going to be useful for you later. Now I'm just going to run an echo command, and I'm going to run it again. But I want to run the last, I want it to use the last argument. In this case, that would be cat. So an argument is an instruction or input data for the command. And so that runs. So that's going to save some time for you later. That's a lot of tricks here. But the W command shows you who is logged in and what they are doing. So at this point, you have PTS/0, and that's this pseudo terminal that I'm using right now, and it shows my IP address and other information. So let me just move on, and I'll show you what pseudo terminals are and terminals and how they are different. I'm going to click on this server here. I'm going to log in. Okay. I'm going to use the Mate terminal to access the command line. Now I'm going to show you, before I do that, I'm going to increase the, so that it's easier for you to see. Okay, so the who command shows who is logged in, but not what they are doing. So I'm just going to press Q here, and I'm going to use the who command to see who is logged in. So the as I mentioned before, PTS0 is being used by the PuTTY session, and as we can see, PTS1 is being used by the Mate terminal session. And then there is something called TTY1, and that is a terminal. And let me just show you the. Let me read my text real quick. So. Right, so let me just close this. And show you on the PuTTY session. I closed the Mate terminal session, and therefore PTS1 is no longer needed. So just real quick, I'm going to go back to the Mate terminal, and I'm going to right click, and then I'm going to click on Open in Terminal. So we can right click on the directory we're working on and click Open in Terminal. So let me demonstrate the print working directory command. And that shows us the working directory, the directory we are currently in. Now, you can change the prompt to display the entire path of where you are. I'll cover that later. That's something I like to do to my command line. It's just a preference. So I can press Control and D to log off very quickly. I'm just going to come back here. So, okay, my instructions are telling me that I should show you how TTYs work. So we are in TTY1 currently, but if you want to change TTYs, you press Control, Alt, and the number of the TTY. So I'm going to press Control, Alt, and F2, and excuse me, I'm going to log on as root. And then I'm going to use the TTY command to tell me which TTY I'm using. So we are in TTY2. I'm going to press Control D to log off. Then I'm going to press Control Alt and I guess F7, and press Control Alt and F2 again. You can't see a difference, but there is one. Let me log in and use the TTY command again. So we're in TTY2. Okay, that's nice. Control Alt F6. TTY again. Aha, we're in TTY6. So a virtual teletype uses the screen and the keyboard connected to the physical computer. That's very important to know, because if you have a problem with if your pseudo terminal is locked up, and I should make a lab about this where I show how this works, but if your pseudo terminal for some reason freezes or something happens to it, conceivably you can use one of these TTYs to still have access to your server. And that's the point that I wanted to make. So let me press Control D, and I'm going to press Control Alt and F1 so we can go back to TTY1. Oh, gosh, I wasn't supposed to do that. I am very sorry. Oh gosh, I'm so sorry. Close. Yes, please. Oh gosh. Well, it won't show me that because I'm on the Monte terminal, aren't I? Back on TTY1. All right. So if you have access to the physical machine, of course you can get in using a TTY, but a lot of times you may not be close to the physical machine. So here's a word about the print working directory command. Now, let me use this Monte terminal session to show you. I'm going to list, using the long listing option, the lib directory. Hold on a second. I apologize. Okay, so as you can see, it's symbolically linked to USR lib, which means a symbolic link is just a file that refers to another directory. So if I was to change directories into the lib directory, okay, I'm there, and then run the print working directory command, it would tell me I'm in the lib directory. So, because that is the logical path. And so it doesn't follow the symbolic links to the actual physical path. So let me use print working directory. So now that followed the symbolic links to the directory that is actually physically connected to /lib. I'm going to press CD to return to the home directory. Let's see what else we have here. Yeah, the TTY command tells us what device file we are using. Let me make a demonstration here. Actually, let me take a look at what PuTTY sessions did we close this PuTTY session? I'm just going to click on this PuTTY session, press Control D to destroy it, and then I'm going to oh wait, here we are. Okay, now I'm going to list the dev or the device directory. So this is where we keep all of our device files. The screen is not large enough for all these device files, but let me focus the search, the PTS directory. All right, so as we can see, we have PTS1 here. Now I'm just going to come over here, I'm going to right click this PuTTY, and I'm going to click on server. Then I'm just going to log in. I'm going to minimize this window. Now let me list that directory again. Aha! We have created a device file. So let me go over to the PuTTY session again, and let me ask it, well, who are you? Or what TTY are you using? Yeah, that's the T2, that's the device file that has been created for this PuTTY session. So I hope that explains. Who am I? I'm Tux. I'm the user Tux, and so the effective user ID is printed. So the who command has a lot of options. let's just play around with these options. But before, let me check out a command here. Aha, that's the ID command. That's what I was thinking about. So who am I? So it'll show you just in a short which user you are using, but the ID command is a lot more useful, and we'll use that a lot more when we go into user permissions and such, user and group permissions. But let's look at the who command. So that's all. That's all of these options: P, R, T, capital T, U, and B and D. So not all of these. I'll show you something. I'll just run through them. We previously looked at the run level, and that's a good way to find the run level. And you could use the full text with the double dashes, or you can use the single dash. It just depends. Sometimes I like to use the full, the double dash, because it's easier for me to read. Add user message status as 0, or what is that all about? So just message status. Well, I'll look into that later, because user message status, does that mean that the users can't have a message? I'll add that to chapter 2 actually. So let's start over again. Let's try this. Who, and then you. So where's the extra information? List users that are logged on. Interesting. So that's our dead process. We deleted that PTS process, and now that's dead. Huh. Again, I should probably make a video just for the who command, because it seems to have a lot of mysteries that I haven't unlocked, to be really honest with you. Print system login processes. So this is recorded the system login processes when we access TTY2 and TTY6. Huh. It has numbers. Are these process? These must be process numbers. I'm willing to bet. And then let's try another one. Boot. So time of last system boot. So that's useful, you know, just to show you in a short format when the last time you booted. So anyway, that's the last of this episode, and I might do an episode just on the who command, because there are a lot of mysteries I found. But I hope this was helpful, and I hope that you're logging in to your machines, and you know the difference between pseudo terminals and terminals. And I've tried to exhaustively research this topic, and here are my references, and of course, you know, the good old man7.org page. And if you have any questions or concerns, just put them in the comments, and I'll be enthusiastic to bring you the next one, which is vital if you want to use the command line to its fullest extent. You need to read and use system documentation, and also be able to find the commands you're looking for. So that's going to be a massive one. So I hope to see you again, and I hope you have a good day. Thanks.